Worst days in history, 9/11. Today, we remember the over 3,000 lives we lost 20 years ago. We also say thank you to the heroes that run towards danger every day, our first responders. I have a quote. Even the smallest act of service, the simplest act of kindness is a way to honor those we lost, a way to reclaim that spirit of unity that followed 9/11. President Obama. In remembrance of the lives that were lost, we'd like to have a moment of silence. Please, everyone rise. We're going to have a quick moment of silence. And now for our national anthem. Your Winslow Township marching band. All right, let's get. Back deep.
And we welcome you to Atco, New Jersey for some Saturday night high school football tonight. We have a great matchup between two star-studded teams. It's the Woodrow Wilson Tigers and the Winslow Township Eagles. Thanks for tuning into our stream on YouTube. I'm Ethan Carpenter with the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Thank you for the tribute by Wilson Township to the lives lost 20 years ago today. And the tragedy of 9/11 we will never forget. As both teams line up for the opening kickoff, Woodrow Wilson in their road whites and Winslow Township in their home green jerseys. Decent crowd out here tonight. Beautiful weather. The sun is setting as the days get shorter here in early fall as that kickoff is taken by Trey Thorpe. And Thorpe is still on his feet at the 45, cuts back towards midfield, and he's brought down in Woodrow Wilson territory, the 46-yard line. So a nice return for the home Eagles. And that probably looks familiar for the home crowd here as they got off to a phenomenal start last week in their home game against Camden Catholic. If you didn't get the chance to tune into our live stream, Winslow Township went ahead to a 36-0 lead in the first half. They held on to win 42-20. But it was that first half offense that propelled them to victory. And now they start in enemy territory at the 47-yard line. Hamas Doran will take the snap out of the shotgun, and movement up front.
Flag.
It's Fatim Diggs, the sophomore defensive lineman, one of the stars of this Woodrow Wilson defense. Jumps off sides, 5 yards, so a 1st and 5 now for the Eagles. So Winslow Township comes into this one 1-1. They lost their first game to Woodbridge. Like mentioned, a win here at home over Camden Catholic, so 2 straight home games for the team in green. As another shotgun snap here to the right, and in motion goes Trey Simmons. As Doran takes the first snap of the game, handed off to Trey Thorpe. Thorpe nearly evades his QB, falls ahead for a gain of 3, maybe 4 yards on first down. It's a 2nd and short. So for the opposing team, the Woodrow Wilson Tigers, they're 1-0 on the season. Got a 28-7 win over West Deptford last week. A very steady win. They scored 1 touchdown in each of the 4 quarters. So well spaced out. They really ran the ball well. It's become their identity this season. We'll see how they do running the ball tonight against a Winslow Township front that had one of their best games in recent memory against the run last week. Is on 2nd and short. Another handoff to Thorpe, who tries to change direction, and he stopped near the line of scrimmage. Good play up front by Woodrow Wilson. That's 52, Malik Fisher, in on the stop. And now what was a 1st and short, now it's a 3rd and short from the 39-yard line. On the far side of your screen, that's James Wilson Jr. Had a huge game last week for the Eagles. As the 3rd down snap goes to Thorpe. And Thorpe powers ahead, and it looks like he's short. Maybe got a yard there on the 3rd down carry. So now an interesting decision coming up for head coach Kenny Scott. We assume he's going to go for it. 4th and 1 on the first drive for the Eagles, who again started at the Woodrow Wilson 47-yard line. So a short field. Got to imagine the playbook is limited in this situation, as Doran has Thorpe to his right yet again. 4th and short. Thorpe straight ahead. Give him 3. And then Eagles 1st down.
It'll be 1st and 10. Off the 36-yard line. About a 3-yard pickup.
So Winslow, a team that's, again, been an offensive firepower this season, specifically their last game. Already a 40-point game this season. 3 40-point games in the shortened COVID season last year, as we'll see the first time out of the game for Winslow Township head coach Kenny Scott and company. So speaking of Coach Kenny Scott, we will take a trip into the coach's corner. If you missed last week, we did this segment. 2020 South Jersey Sports Zone Coach of the Year is Scott. He's a Winslow grad in 2003. And this Winslow team has definitely improved. They had their first winning season since 2010-2011 last year. And they're looking to build off that this year. 5-1 last year, losing their last game of the season to Holy Cross, but overall a very impressive showing for the home Eagles. And this was kind of what it looked like last week, as Winslow Township and Camden Catholic both calling a lot of timeouts, specifically late in the first half. Don't know if it was maybe the play calling or what it was, but Winslow Township was running on all cylinders last week with a 36-0 lead going into halftime, but still, head coach Kenny Scott always finding teaching, coaching moments for these young players as the Eagles have huge expectations for this season. So it's a 1st and 10 from the 36-yard line here on the first drive for the Eagles. Little over 9 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Doran with Thorpe to his right. Flag on the field. Winslow moving backwards.
So that's going to bring up a 1st and 15 from the 41-yard line.
So this was the issue, specifically in the first game of the season. Coach Scott told me that the Eagles had over 100 yards in penalties in their first game against Woodbridge. A lot of penalties last week as well for both sides, both Winslow and Camden Catholic, specifically extracurriculars, so roughing the passer or late pushes out of bounds, things like that. And you got to believe that Coach Scott wants to clean that up this week. Not a good start with a false start here on the first drive of the game. As Doran sends Thorpe in motion, Thorpe in the flat. Ball looked like it was a backwards pass. It was, so it's going to be a loss of, see, maybe 3 or 4 yards there. Luckily for the Eagles, that ball went out of bounds, because if that ball stays in, it's a live ball. And boy, that would be a nice turnover here to start for Woodrow Wilson on the road. Doran getting the signals from the sideline. Quarterbacks coach Christian Hackenberg, we mentioned last week on the broadcast, former Penn State quarterback, an NFL quarterback, bringing some great experience and insight to the quarterback room here in Atco, New Jersey. As lining up on the right hash are the Eagles, 2nd and 18 from the Woodrow Wilson 49-yard line. Doran, maybe a miscommunication on the handoff and nowhere to go. Brought down for a 1-yard loss. And in there on the stop, Fatim Diggs. Again, one of the stars of this Woodrow Wilson defense. Diggs 3 tackles and a sack last week. Has an offer from Virginia. And as a sophomore, Woodrow Wilson has to be happy. They're going to have him for a few more years, helping create havoc in the backfield of opponents. So here's a 3rd and 19 from exactly midfield, as fans continue to come in here, approaching the halfway point of the first quarter, as the pass to the outside caught by Wilson, but wrapped up by Eric Lee, the sophomore defensive back. And after the opening kickoff taken to the 47-yard line by Thorpe, the Eagles go backwards. A net loss of 2 yards, and they're going to punt it away with 8 minutes left in the first.
Away. It's about at the 30, rolls to about the 20. Or it's not there. So Woodrow Wilson will be starting the first possession at their own 20-yard line.
All right, so after the punt, Woodrow Wilson will take the field for their first drive behind the arm of quarterback Devin Cargman, senior. It's his 3rd season as a starter. His older brother, Kevin, who now plays for Western Michigan, was a 2-year starter. So Woodrow Wilson entering their 5th season having a Cargman quarterback. And boy, are they both talented. So starting from the 20, 1st and 10. About 7.5 here to go in the first quarter as Cardman lines up under center, sends a man in motion, and the hands up off right up the middle to about the 25-yard line. 5-yard gain on first down. And that's Nasir Oglesby, who is the star of this backfield. Huge things expected for him this season. He had 4 touchdowns last week against West Deptford. More on that later, but we can expect him to be a featured part of this Woodrow Wilson offense tonight as Cardman lines up in the shotgun on second down, and on cue, Oglesby another carry. Falls ahead for a couple. It's going to set up a 3rd and short. So this has become the identity for Woodrow Wilson. They were a team that really threw the ball over the last few years, and how couldn't you with Cardman under center and how accurate and just how good of an arm he has. But Woodrow Wilson really trying to change their identity this year and become more of a running team. So we'll see how that unfolds here tonight, as obviously the Eagles very good against the run. Here's a 3rd and 1 for Cardman. On the outside to the 40-yard line, the catch is made for the first down on the reception, Anthony Judah. Nice route, nice catch, short gain. And Woodrow Wilson will move the chains for the first time tonight.
So 1st and 10 from the 40.
And already noticing a lot of teams in high school football really don't line up under center, but Cardman's already been under center a few times here tonight. He's thinking about it here, as he's got Oglesby right behind him. The give will go to Oglesby. And a little bit of activity in the backfield. Barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Good job on the penetration there by Jeremiah Taylor. What a good defensive game last week for the Eagles. And no gain on first down for Woodrow Wilson.
We had Chad Smallwood over there on the tackle. 2nd and 10.
Woodrow Wilson had really good game rushing the ball last week. Through one game, they already had 206 yards rushing. And last year, in a COVID-shortened 6-game season, they had only 545 yards rushing. So if you do the math, which I promise you I'm not doing this on the spot, that's over 1,600 rushing yards that they're on pace for this season, as Cardman throws it to the 45. No one there. Good job on the back end coverage by the Eagles, setting up a 3rd and long. So the 206 yards total last week was the story.
Pressured by Chad Smallwood.
And it was Nasir Oglesby who led the way, 192 yards. He only had 394 total last year. He said after the game, "I wanted to show what I've been training for," and what a way to kick off his 2021-2022 season, as Cardman lines up on the shotgun on a 3rd and long. 2 receivers to his left at the bottom of your screen. A lot of pre-snap activity as Cardman steps back, fires towards midfield. The catch is made. It's another catch for Anthony Judah. Trey Moore was there to touch him down at midfield. There is a flag, and that's holding on Woodrow Wilson. So after a nice 3rd down pickup, would have been a first down. Instead, the road team will be going back 10 yards, now a 3rd and 20. Still, though, a good veteran throw there by Devin Cardman to know exactly where the first down marker was. I mean, Judah fell down right at midfield, and that would have been a first down by inches. So good maturity, and that's exactly what you would expect out of your senior quarterback. 6'3", 180 pounds, good size on him. A lot of colleges looking at him. Career 65% completion percentage for Woodrow Wilson. Over 5,000 yards passing. 52 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. So they're not scared to have him let it fly. As on the 3rd and long, Cardman fake a handoff, fake a screen. Oglesby has it. Oglesby fighting his way across the 40, but on 3rd and a mile, that is not enough. An 11-yard gain, setting up a 4th down and about 9.
Back to the original line of scrimmage at the 40. 4th and 10.
And Woodrow Wilson will stay on the field to go for it. With about 4 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Cargman trying the hard count, and the veteran might have got Winslow Township to move. We'll see the call.
Bring up a 4th and 5 now from the 45.
So now a 4th and 5 on the movement up front by Winslow Township. Looked like a couple Eagle defenders went across the line of scrimmage. As now what was a 3rd and 20 is now a 4th and 5, thanks to the extra effort by Oglesby and the 5-yard penalty. And we saw this last week for Winslow Township. It really became a game of field position. And so far, that really hasn't been the case tonight, as Winslow Township had great starting field position, couldn't do much with it. And now, while this hasn't been a super long drive, Woodrow Wilson's gone over 20 yards on this drive, and they're still moving the ball. It's a 4th and 5. They're going to need to get this one. The throw to the outside to Judah, and nowhere to go. Good stop by the Eagle defense. Jabez Coney in on the stop almost immediately, and it's a turnover on downs. The Eagles will get the football back again with good field position.
At the 43-yard line for their second possession.
So the Eagles at the 43-yard line in this explosive attack. See the bottom of your screen. Cam Miller, he had a huge game last week, 2 touchdowns. He's our PBPSN player to watch. Should be able to get that segment in later. As Doran is alone in the shotgun on 1st and 10. About 3.5 to go here in the opening quarter of play as he sends Thorpe in motion. Doran to Thorpe. Thorpe, a stiff arm at the 41, slips another tackle. And a nice run by Trey Thorpe. Give him about 16 yards inside the 30 to about the 28, and the first down for the Eagles. Thorpe getting the PBPSN play of the day honors today. His 48-yard touchdown run against Camden Catholic last week. And that was really what got this offense going. It was the second score of the game. And it was chunk plays that really set the tone for Winslow Township last week, as now Doran has Thorpe to his left, 3 receivers to his left at the top of your screen. The hands off to Thorpe.
Handoff up the middle for positive yardage.
Couple yards on first down to the 22-yard line.
About the 23. About the 25th, 5-yard.
So already we're seeing tonight more emphasis on the ground game for the Eagles. Doran had a lot of passing attempts in their last game. He threw for over 250 yards last week for Winslow Township, so one of his better games. But tonight it's really been trying to establish the run with Thorpe, and it seems to be working. Still scoreless game with 2.5 left. It's the throw to the outside, and it's caught by Trey Simmons as he is upended near the goal line at the 2-yard line. So what an effort by Trey Simmons. Hopefully everyone's okay there on the far sideline. Looks like everyone gets up. Another first down for the Eagles on the momentarily scary play by the goal line. As now another stoppage in play, and it looks like a hold
take you back from where the holding was committed,
on the Eagles.
The ball will be marked at.
So what they might be trying to decide, the hold happened after the first down was picked up. So they're going to move 10 yards back from where the foul was committed.
Holding offense, 10 yards on the flag.
Well, now we'll see, because the way the referee put that, it looks like they might be moving 10 yards back from the original line of scrimmage.
So, is bringing it back. It's going to be a 2nd and 4.
And no, it is from the spot of the foul. So it's a 2nd and 4 from the 21, maybe the 22-yard line for Winslow Township.
From the 22, 2nd and 4.
As we approach the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. An efficient Winslow Township offense we have seen on this drive after the 2-yard net loss on their first drive of the game. Again, Ethan Carpenter with the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Thanks for tuning into our YouTube stream tonight. Make sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram as Thorpe is brought down for a loss. Good play up front by Woodrow Wilson. That is Zaire Blount on the stop, the senior linebacker. 6'1", 200 pounds there to stop Thorpe's progress, and it's now a 3rd and 4. So another drive with a 3rd and short situation for this Woodrow Wilson defense. They were able to hold up earlier on the first possession for the Eagles. And their defensive front has really been fighting so far here tonight in this first 11 minutes plus of action. Doran alone in the shotgun again. 5 receivers spread out on this 3rd, and they're going to call it 7 as another timeout called by Winslow Township.
Winslow Township's 2nd timeout.
As a lot of the assistant coaches do not look happy on this Eagles sideline as they will go to the huddle. And while they talk it over, we are going to take a quick audio break. We'll be back for the end of the first quarter after this on the Play-by-Play Sports Network.
I was thinking about getting a little closer.
So here is the 3rd and 7 play in the waning moments here of the first quarter of action. Again, Doran alone in the shotgun. 5 receivers split out. Drops back, fires to the outside near the 20. The catch is made for the first down. And falling down to the 15-yard line is Jacob Mitchell. Give about 10 yards on that play and a first down for the Eagles on a crucial 3rd down as they look to get in the end zone for the first time tonight.
Check that 11-yard pickup from the 15, 1st and 10.
So we knew that this was going to be a tougher game for the Eagles this week. Woodrow Wilson, a very good opponent, and it has lived up to that promise so far. We're still scoreless as we approach presumably the last play of the first quarter. And maybe the Eagles will wait this out. We'll see. Doran drops back on first down, fires, it is caught by Trey Thorpe. How in the world did he hold on to that football? It's an Eagle touchdown and a 6-0 lead.
15 yards, Winslow takes the lead, 6-0.
And you gotta believe you'll be seeing that on the PBPSN play of the day in the near future. What a touchdown grab. As the clock officially runs down here on the first quarter, and Winslow will go for two as Doran gets the signal from quarterback's coach Christian Hackenberg. And what a drive for the Eagles after a first drive that went essentially nowhere thanks to penalties. Doran throws a dart to the end zone to Thorpe. On the two-point conversion, that pass is broken up, and that will take us to the end of the first quarter. So we had a scoreless ball game until literally the final seconds. Doran connects with Trey Thorpe on the touchdown catch, a play that you'll be seeing in the future. What a phenomenal catch. It's a 6-0 game after one quarter here from ADCO, New Jersey. We'll bring you the second quarter right after this on the Play-by-Play Sports Network.
Let's give it up to our Winslow Township cheerleaders. Doing an excellent job out here. All right, so Winslow will be kicking off from the 40-yard line. We have we got to switch sides. We're in the second quarter.
And we are back. Ethan Carpenter with the Play-by-Play Sports Network, here to bring the second 12 minutes. Second quarter kicking off. A 6-0 lead for Winslow Township. On the touchdown pass from Hamas Doran to Trey Thorpe in the front right side of the end zone. Still a bit of sunlight left here from ADCO, New Jersey. And a pretty full crowd, especially here, of course, on the home side. Beautiful night here for some football as the Eagles will kick it deep. Corralled at the 35-yard line. And trying to get the outside edge was Michael Estromera. But he's brought down for a short gain on the kickoff return, and that's where Woodrow Wilson will start their second drive of the night. So ball control has been the story for both of these teams in the first quarter. And we saw this for the Eagles in their last game against Camden Catholic. There were only 4 total possessions in that second half. And really, Camden Catholic, their offense came to life in the second half. But Winslow Township as well, they did a great job with just running the clock, specifically late in that fourth quarter. And it seems to have carried over to their third contest of the season. Refs call a personal timeout. Cargman alone in the shotgun. 5 receivers spread out, starting this drive at the 31 as we kick off the second quarter here. Cargman on first down, looking far side, and what a hit made on the stop there. Simmons, gain of maybe 2 or 3 on first down. But if you notice, a good decisive throw by Cargman, and that's something you really want to see out of your senior quarterback. He's not afraid to go to his first, even his second read. And we're seeing it here tonight. He knew he wanted to throw that ball out into the flat, and if he really waited any longer, that ball could have been intercepted and going the other way for 6. More flags on the field. Seen actually quite a few here tonight. Not as much as last week.
We have a legal procedure on the offense.
And a legal procedure is the call on Woodrow Wilson. That'll send him back. So make that a 2nd and 11 now from their own 30-yard line. But really falling behind the line of scrimmage I guess really isn't a problem. Cargman, again, has proved over his career that he is not afraid to air it out. Those over 5,400 passing yards as Cargman tries to find space in the pocket, and he'll take it himself. And a smart slide at the 39-yard line. No flag on the field. As it's always tough to judge those quarterback slides, especially as a defender, knowing when you should pull back and not try to make a hit, or when you should do what you're taught to do in practice. Wrap up and stop your defender. There's no flag on the field. Happy to see Cargman get up. It's now a 3rd and short from the 38. So the playbook opens up a lot more thanks to the legs of Devin Cargman. 3rd and 3 from the 38, Cargman. Fakes the throw to the outside, now goes to Estremera, and Estremera brought down past the 45 and out of bounds. Although mark him at the 46. And another decisive throw by Devin Cargman for a first down for Woodrow Wilson. They move the chains. And now the hurry-up offense being employed. Might have caught Winslow Township by surprise. Everyone's set, though. 1st and 10 from the 47 in a 6-0 ball game. Cargman trying that hard count again, trying to get this Winslow front to bite. As the Eagle Band playing some tunes here, trying to get the defense fired up as Cargman steps up in the pocket. He will run to his right. Room in front of him, jumps at the 41, brought down on the stop. Trey Simmons there yet again.
Gets it up to about the 41. That's about a 6-yard pickup. Let's wait for the flag. Yeah, holding.
And so another hold on Woodrow Wilson. And, you know, an interesting development there. Cargman thinking about maybe sliding or what he was going to do there. He kind of got stuck. And he got his legs taken out from under him at the 42. But doesn't matter on the run. It's going to be a loss of 5 yards. Setting up a 1st and long. So again, not sure if it's early in the season, which is, you know, what's causing all these flags and penalty issues. And for Woodrow Wilson, this is their 2nd game. Winslow Township, their 3rd at 1-1.
All right, so it's going to be.
And hopefully both these teams will hit a certain point in the season where the penalties aren't so much of an issue. Like we mentioned, Coach Scott saying over 100 yards in penalties in week 1 was an issue for the Eagles, although they are starting 3 freshman offensive linemen. But if last week is any indication, they're playing very, very well on the field. Just maybe the penalties could be part of that. As Cargman lines up in the under center from the 42-yard line, it's a 1st and 20, sends Judah in motion. And a miscommunication on the handoff. Oglesby does his best to get back to the original line of scrimmage. So a lot of movement and a lot of running to pick up essentially nothing. It's now 2nd down. A lot of adjustments at the line of scrimmage here early for Woodrow Wilson. Part of that is because they're trying to run the no huddle. And they're getting plays in from the sideline as Cargman steps back, looking to his left. And he will run and slide. Give him 3 yards on the run. The flag is thrown. And the coaching staff for the Eagles is pointing in the direction of an offensive hold. And that it is. So Cargman and company will move back another 10 yards.
Holding.
An interesting move by the Eagles. They will decline the penalty. And you know, you think they're far enough from the first down yard marker. The first down would be picked up at the Eagle 38-yard line.
16, I'll say.
So with 3rd and 17, you think you like your chances here to try and get this to a 4th down. And, you know, maybe with a 2nd and 27, you think that Cargman has a couple chances to air it out down the field.
Have Wilson's first time out.
As Woodrow Wilson now will call their first timeout of the night. And for Woodrow Wilson, they have a new head coach this year. Brandon Bather, he takes over after Preston Brown left to go to Temple as Director of Player Personnel. And Bather was the defensive coordinator since 2015 with Woodrow Wilson, so he knows these players, he knows this locker room, and it's been sort of a seamless transition really into this season. Obviously, they had a great showing last week, and they're looking to kind of move their success into the 2021-2022 season. This Woodrow Wilson team is a program that's had a lot of success, 42-21 over their last 6 seasons. Although they were 3-3 last year, it was their first season that they were not over 500 since 2014-2015. A team with back-to-back South Jersey Group 3 titles in 2018 and 2019, and after there were no sectionals last year, they got a chance to do a three-peat this year in 2021. But Coach Bather talked about, as he inherited this team as the head coach, he says, well, first of all, he's felt like he coached like he was the head coach when he was the defensive coordinator. So that's a testament to just how strong the staff is at Woodrow Wilson. Everyone really having a great voice in the locker room. Is a 3rd and 17 now for Cargman. Cargman will fake the handoff, plants, throws. And he had a receiver wide open at the 37, but it's dropped. Can't see the number on who dropped that.
Going to the left side. It was dropped, so we're going to 4th down.
So now a 4th and long, but again, Cargman's showing he knows exactly where the line of scrimmage was. That would have been a first down by a yard, if that. And now this will be the first punt of the night for the visiting squad. So all in all, it's been a defensive battle here tonight. But despite that, both quarterbacks have been very poised. And both teams have had some drives that looked promising, but really it's just been penalties that have set both these teams back. And field position definitely hasn't been a problem for either squad as this punt is high, and it is caught by Jabez Coney, who's able to pick it up at the 10-yard line and at least keep possession for the Eagles. But now it's going to be a long field, 90 yards to another 6 for the Eagles, as Hamas Doran will lead his team out to the field for yet another drive. So with the way the Eagles have been moving the ball, if they can play ball control and get this clock running, there's a chance that they can maybe get something in the end zone right before halftime. They have the capability of putting these long, slow drives together, and that was really the beauty of last week. In the first half, they were scoring so quickly, and the scoreboard was filling up, 36 points at halftime, and then in the second half, they really took a step back. Shows really the talent and the poise that they have on the offensive side of the ball. Duran on first down, hands off to Thorpe, and Thorpe makes a move to the outside. It brought down just at the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10.
You might have got back to the line of scrimmage, so it's going to bring up a 2nd and 10, no gain.
As the sun is just about down here in South Jersey on a beautiful Saturday night. 2 straight Saturday night games for the Eagles here at home. Obviously, mostly you see Friday night games. They're able to get 2 Saturday ones in here, though the Eagles will hit the road for 3 straight contests. We'll give you a look at their upcoming schedule here later in this contest. And for the Eagles, you definitely want to rack up some wins here at home. Doran on the outside to Simmons. Simmons finds the angle. Trey Simmons pulling ahead of the defense. Wow, the speed on full display. And the Eagles fly in for a touchdown.
However, sorry to say, we had the flag on.
And for Trey Simmons, you look back and you see the yellow on the field. And that is not a good sight. It's going to be a hold on the Eagles offense.
So that 91-yard reception is net.
So presuming the call is on the Eagles, that would have been a 91-yard catch and run for Trey Simmons. And it's nullified by the hold. But right there, you see just the explosive talent on this Eagle offense. And specifically last season, they had 4 players with over 12 yards per catch.
Where the holding was committed.
And Simmons wasn't even one of those players. So they've got the potential, especially with Doran's arm, to put together some real chunk plays, and that was as long of a play as you really could get. I mean, you can't really ask for anything longer than 91 yards in football nowadays. Good play design, but it sets up a second down from the 9-yard line with a little over 6.5 to go here in the first half, a 6-0 ball game. Three receivers bunched to the bottom of your screen. Eagles trying to regroup after the penalty. Diggs had a good jump outside to Wilson Jr., who cannot get past the initial contact made on the outside. Demir McCrary on the stop. Senior linebacker, first time calling his name on the broadcast tonight. And it's now a third down for the Eagles.
Check that 6 yards, 3rd and 4.
So 3rd and short.
Get it to 19 on their own 15.
My, how things can change after what looked like a 12-0 lead. Now Woodrow Wilson has a chance to get a stop here and potentially have one of their best starting field positions of the night. Doran on 3rd down, looking, going to his right, trying to set up the screen to Thorpe. Play didn't develop, and that sets up a 4th down. So now for Coach Scott, we'll see if they decide to go for it. Again, deep in their own territory. But if you really trust your offense, you might try it, but no, the punt team will come out for Winslow Township. There to kick it away is Jalen Eichen. Also, the backup quarterback for Winslow Township did take a snap last week on a 2-point conversion, and we thought maybe he was going to get some snaps late in that game, but Camden Catholic did make it a close game, and they decided to keep Hamas Doran in there to take the snaps as the #1 QB. Eichen, the lefty, with a kick and a high short one that takes a nice eagle bounce at the 33, and it's touchdown at the 45-yard line. So for how deep the Eagles were in their own territory, to give Woodrow Wilson the ball at the 45 is actually not that bad of a outcome there. As Cargman and company will get their best starting field position of the night. Now it's just a matter of if they can do something with it. And this is a Woodrow Wilson team that had almost 1,400 passing yards last year. But they did have some games where they struggled. They had 3 games under 10 points, including 2 scoreless games, and they're scoreless here thus far. But they've had their moments here where they've moved the ball pretty well, so you got to imagine that they're going to cross the end zone at some point. As right up the middle, Oglesby for a couple yards. It's probably just a matter of time before Oglesby can try and break one free.
Dragged down by Smallwood.
Coach Bather had some really nice things to say about Oglesby last week in his running against West Deptford. He said his pads were low, stayed on his feet. Got spun around a few times and tripped up, but he kept his feet moving. And again, with the change in philosophy now that Woodrow Wilson's going to want to run the ball more this year, he's definitely going to get his fair share of carries. Cardman on the slant. The catch is made. The ball is free, and they're going to rule it an incomplete pass. So an incomplete pass. Anthony Judah had the football for a second, but the referees thinking that Judah did not set his feet and turn upfield, as now we have an injured Eagle on the field. Jabez Coney is down. They will send the trainers and coaches out to take a look at Coney, as we are hoping he is okay. We are going to take a quick audio break while Coney gets checked out by the trainers here on the Play-by-Play Sports Network.
All right, he's up. Let's give it up for him. Took a little shot. Hopefully he comes back in. It's Mr. Coney.
And we are back here on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Thankfully, Coney was able to get up. He looks like he's okay. He's getting some attention here on the near sideline as Woodrow Wilson lines up for a 3rd and 6 from the Eagle 41-yard line. Cardman fires one over the middle. It is caught for the first down up to the 30-yard line. And the catch is made by Diggs. So the star of this Woodrow Wilson defense now being featured on the offensive side of the ball, as the visitors are trying to knock on the door of the red zone. They got 10 yards to get there against an Eagles defense that has really had a good start to their season. Cardman, the handoff to Oglesby, and Oglesby had one man to beat, brought down just past the 15, falls down at the 12, and we got more flags on the field. The story of the first half.
All right, against the defense, against the offense, blocking the back.
And we'll see here, thank you to our in-stadium announcer giving us a little insight into possibly what that could be, hearing maybe a block in the back.
Block in the back, offense, 10 yards to the end of the run. Repeat first.
So it is a block in the back, as, like I mentioned earlier, Nasir Oglesby broke free there. You see the potential that he has in the backfield. And he had one man to beat for the touchdown, but the block in the back, usually when you see a flag thrown in that position, it's almost always a block in the back. As now the offense back to the 25-yard line. And another timeout now for Winslow. As while we take a break here, we're going to take a quick look at the Play-by-Play Sports Network player to watch tonight. We mentioned him earlier, number 10, Cam Miller. Boy, has he had a great start to his freshman year. Last week, 6 receptions, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he scored in both games this season. He had the opening touchdown of the season against Woodbridge. Offers from Temple and Penn State. And you got to imagine a lot more schools are going to be looking at him, especially since he's only a freshman and there's a lot of growth and potential. Great athleticism. Saw a video on social media. He did a 60-inch box jump this offseason, which is absolutely crazy. Great athleticism. Like we mentioned, a freshman class of 2025. And it's only a matter of time before we call his name on the broadcast tonight. That's our player to watch, Cam Miller. So with a little over 4 minutes left, a 6-0 lead. Woodrow Wilson trying to cut into that and possibly take the lead heading into the locker room. As they take this snap from the 25-yard line, Cargman fakes the handoff, rolls left, has a man past the first down yard marker. That is Zaire Blunt. Blunt with a couple nice catches here tonight of first down for Woodrow Wilson as we move below 4 minutes to go in the first half. So we mentioned that running has really become the DNA of this Woodrow Wilson team after being such a pass-happy offense over the last few years. But now tonight we're seeing a little bit of the short passing game. They're getting Cargman out of the pocket, rolling out to his left. He actually throws very well rolling out to his left, which is pretty rare to see for a right-handed quarterback. And it's working so far as Oglesby reverses direction. Falls down at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 upcoming from the 16.
Lost a yard. Wobbly on the tackle with Smallwood. That's a 1 yard loss. It'll be 2nd and 11.
A lot of credit to this Winslow Township front that really they put on a show last week, shutting down Camden Catholic and their star running back in Hicks. One of the best running backs really in the state of New Jersey, and he was shut down last week. And the Eagles coaching staff has to be happy about that. As here's the 2nd and 11. Cargman sets, Cargman throws on the outside, and good defense knocked away in the end zone by Cameron Brown. All 5'7" of him needed to break up that pass, and with a little over 2.5 to go here in the first half, it's a 3rd and long in the red zone for Woodrow Wilson. It might have just been that extra second or two that Cargman took to set his feet and waited on that delivery that really gave Cameron Brown that extra second or two to catch up to the play and have the pass defense in the end zone. It's the farthest Woodrow Wilson has gone tonight. At the Eagles' 17-yard line, 3rd and 11. Cargman looking, the rush getting to him, sets his feet, fires into the end zone, incomplete. Pass intended for Zaire Blunt. Chad Smallwood got in there and made Cargman move off his spot.
So 4th and 11.
So now a 4th and 11 for Woodrow Wilson. Still scoreless in this ball game. Again, coming off a game where they put up 28 points last week with efficient scoring, 6 points in each of the first and second quarters, 8 in the third and fourth. And now, depending on the outcome of this play, they could be looking at 2 scoreless quarters here in the first half. They've got a shot here. Cargman in the shotgun. Man to his right. Cargman fires over the middle, incomplete, slightly overthrew Zaire Blunt. So Blunt gets 2 targets on 3rd and 4th down. Winslow Township holds on defense. As we see a very happy sideline here on the home side. These coaches are fired up as the Winslow Township defense has put together a phenomenal last 6 quarters of football. So Doran and company will get another shot to run a 2-minute drill here to end the first half of action. Again, if you're just tuning in, their last drive There was a 91-yard potential touchdown to Trey Simmons, who got the corner on the outside, the near sideline, but it was called back due to holding. So still a 6-0 ball game as Doran lines up in the shotgun yet again. He'll fire to Trey Simmons again, and almost exactly the same looking play, but this time Woodrow Wilson stops the angle. And just a short gain on first down sets up a second and intermediate, call it 2nd and 5 from the 21. Ethan Carpenter with the Play-by-Play Sports Network as the sun is finally set here in Atco. Under the lights here in some West Jersey Football League action. Doran throws deep, looking for Wilson Jr., and a flag is on the field. So Wilson Jr. had the step, Doran overthrew him. And from my angle, that looked like he was held by Marshall Washington, the sophomore defensive back for Woodrow Wilson. He had his right hand on the back of Wilson's jersey. As we will see what the call is here, refs convening on the near side, and no announcement from our head referee unless they're waiting on something. So 15-yard penalty. So there's the difference between, say, NFL football, where they do a spot foul for the hold, and that would have brought the ball out to about midfield. Instead, it's a 15-yard penalty in high school. So 15 yards is going to move it to the 36-yard line, and another first down for Winslow Township. 2:10 left in the first. Doran with Thorpe right behind him. Thorpe with the touchdown catch in the last seconds of the first quarter. Doran takes the snap, looking, fires. Wilson Jr. tries to make a catch here on the near sideline, out of bounds. Good defense by Woodrow Wilson. William Love helped push Wilson out of bounds at 2nd and 10. So while the Eagles have moved far from where they started this drive, it's thanks to the pass interference. Not much time has come off the clock. If you're Woodrow Wilson, if you could just hold here and maybe give Cargman some time to orchestrate a drive, it'd probably be like a 1-minute drill drive, not a 2-minute drill. But with over 5,000 passing yards, that's probably not too tall of an order for him. In motion is Trey Simmons. And Cam Miller, our player to watch, in motion at the top of our screen. Doran takes the snap, and activity prior. And that's a delay of game. So the play clock, I'm trying to look outside the booth here. Not exactly sure where the play clock is. But nonetheless, that's something that this Eagle offense should have been aware of. So the penalty is going to set them back 5 yards. 2nd and 15 from the 31-yard line. And again, for the third straight game, penalties really the major issue for the Eagles. They're still 1-1, obviously very competitive in their first game of the season and had a blowout win last week, but the penalties have stayed. And 3 games in, and a season that, I mean, you're not even halfway through the season, so they should get it cleaned up soon as Doran's throw goes right through the hands of Trey Simmons, incomplete. 3rd and 15. This Winslow Township team has high aspirations for this season, and the way this game is going, if they want to get to 2-1 on the season, they're going to have to win in 2 different ways. Last week using their offense, and this week using their defense. Their offense has a shot here on 3rd and 15 at the 2-minute mark. Doran to the outside, has his man Trey Simmons, and Simmons is wrapped up and brought down near the original line of scrimmage. About 6 yards. It sets up a 4th and maybe 9 with 1:48 left, and Woodrow Wilson will smartly take a timeout as they try to, well, I said 1-minute drive. It's going to be about a 2-minute drive. 1:48 to go here in the first half.
4th down. Ball is at the 36. 4th and about 9.
Head coach Brandon Bather in his first season trying to rally his players. Great first half of football we've seen so far. Despite the flags, it's been really sound defense by both sides. Despite that, both quarterbacks efficient, decisive in their throwing. And you can't forget, we also got a phenomenal highlight with that Trey Thorpe touchdown. I still do not know how he held on to that football. Back to return this punt for Woodrow Wilson, Michael Estremera. Featured in the offense a little bit here in the first half. He'll have a chance to try and set his team up with a good field position. Solid punt up to the 45, takes an Eagle bounce to the 43.
So Wilson will take over.
Woodrow Wilson will start at their own 43 on what will probably be the last offensive drive of the first half.
In the first half.
And now the Eagles got to go in defense mode if they don't want to relinquish their lead before they head to the locker room. Receivers bunch to the bottom of your screen. Cargman in the shotgun on 1st and 10. Cargman looking. Takes off far sideline and running along the sideline. We'll see how much he got there on 1st down.
5-yard gain up to
5-yard gain to the 47.5-yard line, setting up a 2nd and manageable.
2nd and 5 with 1:29 left.
What has been surprising in this one so far is how well both defenses have played. There really haven't been any turnovers. I mean, there hasn't been, other than the turnovers on downs, which you'll expect by, for teams that'll go for it on 4th down. You're not going to get it every single time on 4th down, but I'm talking interceptions. There was a fumble earlier that was recovered, but mostly clean football in that sense as Cargman on the rollout to his right. Fires near sideline. That catch is made at the 42 and a huge hit at the 41. Flags stay in the pockets of the refs. Trey Moore delivered a huge blow on the near sideline. Estremera gets up. He's okay. He flew in the air for a second. Now at 1:19 left in the first half.
Winslow's 43 about.
Woodrow Wilson is threatening. Yet again, they got inside the red zone on their last drive, but turned it over on downs. Cargman looking. Cargman fires. Low, incomplete. On the coverage there, Cameron Brown defending Zaire Blunt. So Cargman is looking Blunt's way a lot here in the second quarter. By my count, that's his 3rd or 4th target in the last 2 drives. Blunt, a good target over the middle of the field, 6'1", 200 pounds, as he'll head to the sideline for a substitution.
All right, 2nd and 10.
Three receivers to Cargman's left, one to his right. 2nd and 10. Cargman. Deep drop, steps up, he'll take off. He's got room, and he'll slide smartly at the 33-yard line. Close to a first down, going to be a 3rd and short. But in a pocket that was collapsing, a good decision made there by Devin Cargman. As we now are under 1 minute to go here in the first half. Still 2 timeouts for Woodrow Wilson. I guess trying to save them just in case they get this first, as Oglesby will take the handoff straight ahead. Tough angle here. Yes, they're going to give him the first down. 40 seconds left, and looking like a timeout is called here by Woodrow Wilson.
It's last timeout of the half. 40 seconds left.
And now they're saying it's their last timeout of the half, so that's a huge detail. So the scoreboard says that Woodrow Wilson has 2 timeouts, but our PA announcer says 1 timeout, so we'll keep an eye on that. So the PA announcer tells me that they have used all of their timeouts, so that's a huge detail for a team with only 40 seconds to work with, trying to tie this game up or take the lead as we head into the locker room. They're at the 32-yard line, so they have not too far left to go. Again, they got to about the 17-yard line on their last drive. On a 4th down, Cargman looking in the end zone for Zaire Blunt.
40 seconds left.
Overthrew him, but they had a couple of shots there to try and get something on the board in this defensive battle here tonight. First and 10 from the 32. Cargman. A lot of time, and the rush comes through. Cargman fires to the end zone, and it's caught for the touchdown. Cargman moves in the pocket. He finds Anthony Judah for the touchdown, and we are all tied at 6.
No flags. Touchdown good. 6-6. Extra point.
So now both touchdowns scored in this game in the last minute of each quarter. And we don't know if it's maybe the defense letting up in the final moments, not sure. But great job by Cargman extending the play. Jeremiah Taylor really broke through the line of scrimmage and had a shot at Cargman, but Cargman rolling to his left, setting his feet, is able to tie this ball game up. So Woodrow Wilson will try to kick the extra point. Number 14, Yasir Matthews, also plays wide receiver for the road team in white. Will try and give them the lead into the break, and the kick is no good.
So score remains 6.
So we have a tie ball game.
6.
6-6 with 29 seconds left here in the first half.
And we'll have the ball starting the second half. Here's score, 29 seconds left on the clock.
And now Woodrow Wilson does what
in this first half.
You see good teams in the NFL do this. They score at the very end of the half, and then if they get the ball to start the second half, it's almost like you essentially get 2 drives back to back, and that's what Woodrow Wilson is looking to do here. And really a good drive managing the clock there by head coach Brandon Bather and company. Got the ball with 1:48 left in the first half. Efficient drive, so it was only a minute and 9-second drive, minute and 19-second drive. And they were able to go all the way down the field, starting around their 45-yard line. And they tie this game up in what has been a defensive battle thus far. So Yasir Matthews back to kick it off. Back to return is Jabez Coney. Happy to see Coney back on the field Had an injury scare there earlier in the first half, but he is back ready to return this kick. We'll see what Coach Scott and this Eagles offense decides to do with 29 seconds to work with. They do have 2 timeouts if they want to take a few shots down the field. That is to be seen as Matthews ready to kick it. Nice kick deep to about the 15-yard line. And Simmons on the return. Simmons running side to side, tries to reverse field. And we'll say his knee did touch the ground. As again, at the high school level, if your knee touches the ground, doesn't matter if you're touchdown, that is where the play stops. Because it didn't look like that Trey Simmons was touched down, but again, the rule prevails. So 21 seconds at their 17-yard line are the Eagles. Last couple minutes of this first half really gone by slow. As here's Doran on first down. Hands it off to Thorpe. Thorpe makes a man miss and runs it out to the 26. And now an injured visiting player on the field. And that will stop the game. That is Jaden Foster. Didn't really see what happened there, as they'll send the trainer out. With only 6 seconds left here in the first half, hoping he is okay. And it could be, they're looking at the ankle, but it could be cramping. And, you know, honestly, last week that was something that was brought up by Coach Bather. He said that, you know, players were cramping up, really. It was the first game of the season. Obviously, football this time of year, it's still hot outside, especially during day games, or at least in the first half. And some of their players were cramping up last week, but he said they played well through it. They really fought through it and delivered a 28-7 win. Is walking slowly off the field as Foster, with 2 staff members for Woodrow Wilson. As we look at what is probably the last play of the first half. And he's walking like it's probably an ankle, but we'll see. They'll probably take a look at him during halftime. Make sure you stay tuned for the second half. Should be a good one. Tie ball game. 2 teams that are really expected to compete at high levels here in this league.
And that is the first half.
As Winslow Township will let the clock run out, and that will do it for the first half of action. So, in the waning moments of the first quarter, Trey Thorpe catches a touchdown for Winslow Township, gives them a 6-0 lead, and then Woodrow Wilson comes right back. They tie it up at 6. We have a tie ball game. After the first half of action, we'll be back for the final 24 minutes after this on the Play-by-Play Sports Network.
6. Winslow, Eagles 6.
Welcome back to the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Ethan Carpenter with you tonight to bring you some South Jersey high school football. It's a 6-6 ball game. Woodrow Wilson and Winslow Township. It's been a defensive battle here early on, but both teams, both offenses finding their way into the end zone in the waning moments of each half. Again, Trey Thorpe with the touchdown catch for Winslow Township, in case you missed it, at the end of the first quarter, making it a 6-0 game. And then at the end of the second quarter, Woodrow Wilson getting 6 points and tying this ball game up, as Woodrow Wilson will get the football to start the second half here. Beautiful night here in Atco, New Jersey. It's really a full crowd here on the home side, and a good showing also for Woodrow Wilson, as the Eagles will kick it off here to start the second half.
Anthony from his own 6.
And from their own 6-yard line, out goes Anthony Judah, just short of the 25-yard line.
Trey Moore.
Good energy there from Trey Moore, who's been really instrumental on the outside on defense for the Eagles tonight and on special teams, making some nice tackles. And now at the 26 is where Devin Cargman will get another chance to lead this Woodrow Wilson offense into the end zone. So you'd look at the scoreboard and think that, you know, maybe tonight wasn't, you know, maybe that good of an offensive showing for both these teams. But really, both offenses have been solid. They've been efficient, with Cargman and Doran on the other side for the Eagles. A lot of short passes. It'll be interesting to see here in the second half if Woodrow Wilson can establish the running game as they send a man in motion here on first down. That's Michael Estromera. The hands off up the middle to Oglesby, and he's brought down right at the line of scrimmage, maybe 1 yard.
Maybe 1 yard.
Setting up a 2nd and 9.
Mr. Trey Moore.
So when Coach Brandon Bather was brought in for Woodrow Wilson, again, he emphasized when talking to reporters that this is going to be a team that runs the football. They want to run the football. And in a game like tonight, they're going to have a chance to do so. It's been a slow pace of a game, as it's an incomplete pass. Hits the grass. It'll be 3rd and 9 now.
39.
From the 26.
Right about the 26. Up 25. So 39.
Woodrow Wilson trying to build off a game where they rushed for 206 yards last week. But they just have not been able to really corral their ground game. Oglesby did break free for a nice run in the second quarter for a first down, but it was called back for a penalty. And other than that, it's really been Devin Cargman setting the pace with his right arm, as he drops back on 3rd down, fires down the near sideline, and wide open is Michael Estromera, who will walk into the end zone for a Woodrow Wilson touchdown. And he poses for the camera. 12 unanswered points for the visitors on a beautiful throw from Cargman to Estromera. Call it 74 yards on the catch and run. And somewhere up there at Western Michigan, Devin's brother, Kevin Cargman, has to be smiling as his brother put that ball right on the spot. So with less than a minute gone here in the second half, Woodrow Wilson will try to take an 8-point lead. And don't know if that was a blown coverage for Winslow Township, but nonetheless, the play stands. Cargman in the shotgun. One man to his left. Estromera in motion off the touchdown. Carpin looking his way, fires to the back of the end zone, and the two-point conversion is good. A 14-6 ball game.
Can't see that number.
So in a first half that saw a lot of slow drives, a lot of short passes, the longest passing play officially in this game, 74 yards for the touchdown, goes Woodrow Wilson. Again, there was that 91-yard catch and run by Winslow Township. In the first half, but it was called back due to a hold, as now both teams will convene before the kickoff here to start the second half. And now this Eagle offense is going to have to fly up and down the field a little more like they did last week. With the 36 points in the first half. They did slow down in the second half, though, a little. Like we mentioned earlier, they were outscored 20-6 by Camden Catholic. Granted, they only had the ball twice in that second half. Is now to kick it off for Woodrow Wilson is Yasir Matthews. Yet again, it's been pretty good on his few kickoffs that he had late in the first half. And back to return yet again is Jabez Coney. Matthews, a short kick. Goes out of bounds on the far sideline. The flag will fly, and that means the Eagles will have great field position. Their best starting field position was, if you remember, on their first drive, they started from the Woodrow Wilson 47-yard line. Couldn't do much with it. They ended up punting the ball away from the 49-yard line, so losing 2 yards on that drive.
Free kick infraction on the kicking team. Ball will be placed on the 35-yard line. First and 10.
Thank you to our head referee. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line for the first drive for the Eagles here in the second half.
35-yard line.
Still a one-score game, an 8-point ball game. Shouldn't change the playbook too much for the home squad. As three receivers to the bottom of the screen for Duran, with Trey Thorpe to his left. Doran fakes the handoff, fires to Wilson Jr. The catch is made, spins out of a tackle at midfield, and Wilson Jr. still going past the 40, out of bounds to the 34. And by this angle, it looks like maybe a face mask. That's what Jimmy Wilson Jr. is indicating. Off his nice game last week at home against Camden Catholic, he had that first touchdown of the game, pulling in the score over a defender. And yes, that penalty will go against Woodrow Wilson. So the Eagles will march on forward.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty. First down.
That was of the 15-yard.
So a 15-yard penalty will send the Eagles to the 28-yard line, and they are in a hurry. Doran and the shotgun will rush up to the line of scrimmage. About as much of a hurry-up offense as you can employ after a penalty, as both offenses moving up and down the field here with only 1 minute and 2 gone here in the second half. Movement on the near side. It looks like Diggs jumped off sides for Woodrow Wilson. We'll see the call.
So Winslow now will have first and 5 after
So first and 5 at the 23. Doran back. He'll run up the left side. Doran cuts back in and brought down at the 9-yard line. That's a first down for the Eagles. They're in business trying to tie this ball game up early in the second half.
It's going to now be first and goal from the 7.
So good awareness by Doran to step up in the pocket, kept his eyes downfield, took advantage of the green grass in front of him. As now this is the closest the Eagles have been to the goal line since the first quarter. First and goal for the Eagles. Thorpe takes the carry.
Inside, hand off to
Slips
Thorpe.
through a few tackles. He's down to the 5-yard line.
Dragon tacklers.
Good, efficient run on first down.
He's up to about the 4. So it's gonna be
And more hurry-up offense from the Eagles. So stamina shouldn't be a problem. Not much space to run as you're at the 5-yard line, but we do have a timeout called by Woodrow Wilson to try and regain themselves, facing a second and goal from the 5-yard line. So while these teams talk it over, we will take a quick audio break, and we'll be back here on the Play by Play Sports Network. And we're back. A second and goal opportunity for Winslow Township. Knocking on the doorstep, trailing 14-6. With 10:06 left here in the third quarter. Doran fakes, throws, ball is tipped, and is it caught for the touchdown? No, it is not. The ball hit the grass. Cam Miller, the freshman, was right there to grab it. But the back judge had a good view of that play and says, no, that football hit the grass. Third and goal. So Woodrow Wilson has done a really good job on defense in short yardage situations tonight. None more important than this play right here. Leading by 8. Doran takes the snap, has Thorpe to the end zone, falls in, and they're going to rule him just short. That's got to be at the half-yard line. Trey Thorpe with a nice run on third down, but there on the stop is Zaire Blount, who's been very active on both sides of the ball tonight. It's now 4th and goal. Doran on the sneak, Doran ahead, and Doran's in for the touchdown. Hamas Doran brings this to a 2-point game on the QB keeper with 9.5 left here in the third quarter.
Wilson 14, your Eagles 6, 12.
The Eagles will go for 2 and try to tie this one up as Hackenberg, see at the bottom of your screen, heads out to the 20 to talk with Doran. The two have had great communication. Saw a story on them this offseason on just how important he is to the QB room and how much growth that Doran has had now in his 3rd season as a starting quarterback for the Eagles. He took matters into his own hands there on the 4th and goal. So here's the 2-point conversion. Try and tie this one up. Doran looking for Jimmy Wilson Jr., and that's incomplete. In on the coverage, Paul Medley to break it up. And it will remain a 14-12 ball game. So if you just tuned in, this is definitely not looking like the first half. It was a defensive battle, and now both offenses have awoken here from Atco, New Jersey, in this West Jersey Football League matchup. Again, like I mentioned earlier, go ahead and give us a subscribe here on the Play by Play Sports Network or Play by Play Productions YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram at PBPSN. And we always post great highlights from the many talented athletes here in the New Jersey high school sports scene.
All right, Taylor's going to be
Feature stories as well on our YouTube channel. Keeping up with talented programs, coaches, and players.
Got Anthony back deep.
And giving them some recognition.
Along with Matthews.
As the kick it deep, Jeremiah Taylor for Winslow Township.
It is Anthony.
2 men back deep for Woodrow Wilson. A low kick for Taylor. Taken in at the 15.
From 13.
Running to the near side is Yasir Matthews, also the kicker for Woodrow Wilson. He's brought down at the 32-yard line.
Will start their own 31-yard line.
So he kicks and he receives kicks. And a nice start to this drive for the visitors as they look to build on their 2-point lead off the drive on the touchdown on their opening drive to start the second half.
All right, first and 10.
So first and 10 from the 31 for Cargman. Cargman hands it off to Oglesby. Oglesby breaks a few tackles, running strong past midfield and diving into Eagles territory, brought down at the 47-yard line. It's a huge run on first down, and Woodrow Wilson will move the chains. As now suddenly that potent rush defense that the Eagles have really shown over the last 6 quarters of action. Maybe Oglesby has found a weakness. We'll see. Under 9 minutes to go here in the third. Oglesby on the delay handoff. Oglesby, a nice run on first down, falls down at the 39.5.
Up to the 41. 6-yard pickup, second and 4.
We'll mark that at the 41. My apologies. A 6-yard gain for Oglesby, who again had only. It did not have that many rushing yards last season. 394 rushing yards. And already 192 in his last game. He's over 200 already today. He's well on his way to breaking that record this season. Here's Cargman in the shotgun on 2nd and 4 from the 41. Throws it outside, has his man near the line of scrimmage. Short gain on second down, sets up a 3rd and 1. And we've seen Cargman really utilize short throws to the outside today, and credit to all the receivers for Woodrow Wilson who've been able to take those passes and move upfield quickly. It's a talented bunch at the cornerback position for the Eagles. And so when you catch that football, you got to move upfield quick. There's guys like Trey Thorpe and Trey Moore on the outside are definitely talented. His movement up front on the hard count, moving across the line of scrimmage, is Amari Chambers. So it'll be 5 yards and a first down for Woodrow Wilson, as they've had 2 good-looking drives here to start the second half.
First and 10. Winslow's 34-yard line.
Yet another audible at the line of scrimmage for Woodrow Wilson. Cargman back. Cargman sets, delivers a rainbow throw to the goal line, incomplete. He overthrows Anthony Judah, who had a touchdown earlier in this one. He had the step. The Cargman overthrows 2nd and 10. If you're Cargman, that's about the only spot you can throw that football. If you do throw that ball a little farther behind, there were 2 defenders there for Winslow as reinforcements to try and break that pass up. Cargman under center from the 34-yard line. 2nd and 10.
Inside handoff up the middle.
Oglesby will take a few Eagle defenders to the 30-yard line. A nice strong run. And that'll be 4 yards.
4-yard pickup brought down by Wadley and Trey Moore. 3rd and about 6 to go.
So a 3rd and 6 and a nice opportunity here for this Eagles defense to try and make a stop. As for the Eagles, you don't want to give Woodrow Wilson so much confidence after a first half where they struggled to score. They had 0 points up until a minute left in that second half when they scored. And now they've scored touchdowns on back-to-back possessions, and they're threatening here with a 2-point lead as we just passed the halfway mark of the 3rd quarter. Cargman will fake the handoff. Cargman flushed out to his left, throws off his back foot, incomplete.
Goes incomplete across the middle.
Looking for his man at the 10-yard line. And coming up limping is Anthony Judah. No, that's not Anthony Judah. That's Zaire Blunt. But Blunt and Judah have been very active on the offensive side of the ball here tonight. As that sets up now a 4th and 6. So they'll go for it. They did send Yasir Matthews out to kick an extra point in the first half. They're not going to try kicking any field goals or either one of these teams tonight. Just going for it on 4th down. It's a 4th and 6, pretty manageable for the Woodrow Wilson offense. In motion is Judah. Cargman on the fake. Nowhere to go on this one. Rolls out of the pocket, and it is caught near the line of scrimmage, stretching out, trying to get the first down. And it's going to be short. It looks like a turnover on downs, and the Eagles will take over. Great textbook tackling to stop that first down from being picked up. And the Eagles will take over. So a huge stop for this defense. Now, really, their last 2 drives on the defensive side of the ball have not been great, but they get the stop they needed with 5.5 left in the 3rd. What a great football game this has been tonight. We've had it all. Huge hits, quick drives, a few big plays. Again, the 91-yarder that was called back by Winslow Township was still a beauty to watch. The 74-yard touchdown pass from Cargman on the money to Michael Estremera down the near sideline. Trey Thorpe's highlight grab in the first half. We've had it all here tonight. It's a 14-12 game. As the energy is still here from Winslow Township High School. In motion is Cam Miller. Cam Miller will get the pitch.
Cam Miller on the quick pass. That's the pass.
And by my count, that's Miller's first touch of the night. Miller, who has 3 touchdowns on the young season.
2nd and 11, right at the 24.
Miller had, our player to watch obviously tonight, had one of the greatest plays I've seen in some time last week. Caught a pass on the near sideline, got to the 30-yard line, and there were 3 Camden Catholic defenders there ready to bring him down. And he spun out of a tackle and just went horizontal across the field and was able to find his way into the end zone. It was absolutely amazing. It's been the joy to watch him play, and boy, is he going to be an important part of this Eagles football program in the years to come as movement up front.
We have a flag before the start of that play.
And it looks like offsides for Fatim Diggs. Diggs has really got a nice jump.
All right, so.
And yes, that's the call from the ref. Diggs has got a lot of nice jumps on the ball here tonight.
Give Winslow a
on almost every single play, you see him threatening at the line of scrimmage. And a few times, if you have a guy like Diggs who is so active in the backfield and has such a great nose for the football, there's going to be some times that, you know, maybe he'll jump too quickly, and you see that there. 5 yards for the Eagles, 2nd and 6 now. From the 29, Doran sets, throws. Wilson Jr. brought down. A tackle at the knees at the 35. Tackle made by Jesse Feikill. Senior, running back and defender.
Enough for the first down. About a 6-yard pickup. About a 7-yard pickup.
Trying to get Wilson involved in the game. Jimmy Wilson Jr.
At 36-yard line.
One of the many talented skill players that the Eagles are bringing back this season. A lot of turnover from their team last year. And again, went 5-1, starting their season 5-0, and only dropping their last game to Holy Cross. Doran on the throw, and that one's batted down. Good hands at the line of scrimmage. Sheldon Neal, as first mentioned on the broadcast tonight, breaks that up.
Bring up a 2nd and 10.
And it's a 2nd and 10. So both defensive fronts really putting on a good performance here tonight. Like I mentioned, the running game for both teams not able to get going really. But both Doran and Cargman have been on the run a lot, and both quarterbacks able to just find some space, set their feet, and deliver some nice throws. Specifically on some of the touchdowns we've seen tonight have just been on broken plays that have ended well, as Doran steps back, looking, trying to set something up downfield, throws off his back foot, and we should see some laundry on the field. There is a flag, yes. There it is. It's going to be pass interference on Woodrow Wilson. Trying to go up for that catch was Trey Simmons. And Trey Simmons is very athletic, but there's really nothing you could do when a defender is right there pushing you to the ground before the ball can even reach you. So again, in high school, it is not a spot foul. It's a 15-yard penalty, so the Eagles so not sure if the mic on the camera picked that up. Probably did not, but there's offsetting penalties, so the play will not count. It definitely was pass interference on Woodrow Wilson, but now also holding on the Eagles. So there are the penalties that Coach Scott does not like to see. Coming back to bite them on a play that could have got the Eagles in the Woodrow Wilson territory. Here is Simmons on the move, Doran in the shotgun, 2nd and 10 from the 36. The hands off to Thorpe. And tried to make his way past the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go. Good defense up front. Zaire Blunt was in there on the stop along with a couple other defenders.
So bringing up 3rd and 10.
And 3rd and 10 is the down and distance with 3.5 left in the 3rd quarter. Ethan Carpenter with the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Winslow Township playing their last game at home until October 15th. 3 straight road games on tap for them, which will start next week at Timber Creek, a team they're very familiar with. And now a sideline warning on Woodrow Wilson, assuming that maybe a few of the coaches were getting too far onto the field. Again, both of these coaching staffs for both these teams very involved with their players. A lot of great coaching on both sides, and that just shows why both of these programs have been so successful in recent years. And these coaches really care about their players, and sometimes it leads them too far onto the field as Duran sets, throws, delivers, incomplete, overthrows Jacob Mitchell on the far sideline. So a 4th and 10, and the punt unit led by Jalen Eichen, the punter and backup quarterback, will try and pin Woodrow Wilson deep in a 2-point game here late in the 3rd. Eichen, the 5'10 sophomore, the lefty punter.
Aikens back to the punt.
He's had a few nice punts tonight. He's gotten some nice rolls as well. As that low snap is fumbled by Eichen, and Woodrow Wilson is there to bring him down at the 15.
All the way back to
So that's another way to get nice field position, as that's where Kargman and his offense will start, 15 yards away from trying to take a 2-possession lead in this ball game. And got to give some time to the guys up front. One of the season storylines for Woodrow Wilson is how good their offensive line is. Coach Bather mentioned, quote, "I want people to come out and watch our lines. They are definitely TV worthy." So YouTube stream worthy. We got them on here now. They're athletic, strong, and talented. And this is the time where the line steps up. You're in the red zone. A 2-point lead, trying to add on here in the third quarter. As the hands off up the middle to Oglesby, who breaks a tackle. And he's brought down at the 2, maybe the 1-yard line.
About a 15-yard pickup all the way to the 2-yard line.
15 yards. And Woodrow Wilson can smell the end zone. It looked like their sideline thought they scored a touchdown there for a second. It's kind of confusing with the angle. It did look like he was in. But now a 1st and goal as we wind down here in the third. Oglesby was trying to get his 5th touchdown of the season. He had 4 touchdowns last week, all 4 touchdowns in the win against West Deptford. And he'll get another carry here. Oglesby up the middle, nowhere to go. There's that good defensive front for the Eagles, setting Oglesby back for a loss of maybe 2 yards there. 2nd and goal upcoming.
2nd and goal.
I guess the Eagles heard me talking up that Woodrow Wilson offensive line. Their defensive line really came to play there. And this is an opportunity for them to flex their muscles. The single back, Oglesby in the backfield.
Quarterback is keeping it.
On the quarterback keeper, he is short. Didn't even look like he got back to the line of scrimmage. So 2 times the QB sneak is employed in this game. Kargman can't get in there. Obviously, Hamas Doran had the QB sneak for a touchdown earlier in this one for Winslow Township. Run to perfection. As the Eagles trying to get a late substitution in. Darian Smith trying to come into the ball game. Don't have enough time, though. As Woodrow Wilson sets with a 1.5 minutes left in the third. Knocking on the doorstep for 6. Hands off to Oglesby, right up the middle and right into the end zone.
Pushing the lead. 20.
So an electric third quarter on the offensive side of the ball for Woodrow Wilson, again, who had 0 points with a minute left in the first half. Now with 20, trying to take their first 2-possession lead of tonight's ball game. Oglesby, his 5th touchdown of the season. And you got to imagine he might be close to, at the end of this game, maybe close to 300 yards rushing for the season. Like we mentioned earlier, 394 total rush yards last year, so dramatic improvement. And last week, Oglesby in the win had a lot of credit to give to his offensive line. We'll mention more of that later on the 2-point conversion. They'll hand it right back to Oglesby, and he will cut into the end zone. And the 2-point conversion is good. It is a 22-12 ball game.
22-12.
So that steady win last week behind the 192 yards from Oglesby, he really had a lot of great things to say about his offensive line, a lot of praise for them, and like Coach Bather said, he wants people to come out and watch that O-line. Adam Shakur, Jaquay Stanley, Alexander Santiago, Shamir Boyd, and Anthony Turlington. The 5 men up front paving the way for this Woodrow Wilson rushing attack. A team that's had an identity change this season. They want to run the ball more, and we saw it on that drive. They really got going behind the legs of Nasir Oglesby. Jabez Coney back to return. For Winslow Township. So 3 possessions here in the second half and 3 touchdowns. It's a whole different ball game here in the second half from Atco. Kick is fielded at the 25-yard line. This is Trey Thorpe.
Trey Thorpe with that.
Runs out past the 30, brought down at the 34. There is a flag on the field.
About the 33-yard line.
So while there has been some activity from the refs here tonight, not as much as last week. It seemed last week there were flags on every other play. As a holding call on the return, when you see a flag on a kickoff like that, it's almost certain that it's a hold. Rarely do you see penalties called on the kicking team. So we get the call from our head referee here tonight.
On return, holding. 10 yards from the 30-yard line. First down.
So the Eagles will move 10 yards backwards. They will start now at the 20-yard line. So not the greatest field position for this Eagle offense that has seen their fair share of drives starting near midfield tonight. They're going to have a lot more work to do here if they want to get this back to a 1-possession ball game. They got 13 minutes and 5 seconds to do it, and it'll start here with 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen in a bunch formation. Doran hands off to Thorpe, and nowhere to go. Good play up front by Woodrow Wilson. The ball was out, but way after contact was made. Looks like Sheldon Neal in there on the stop. Has had a few nice stops for this Woodrow Wilson defensive line here tonight. As now maybe limping towards the sideline is Trey Thorpe. I don't know if it's just for a breather maybe for a second. There is a trainer looking at him, maybe his ankle or foot. They're going to take Trey Thorpe. Or no, he's just going to walk it off, so it looks like he's okay. A trainer is motioning and talking with him as Doran lines up for second down. 2nd and 12. As the seconds wind down here in the third quarter. Eagles will likely try to get a playoff here. As now that's the 2nd delay of game call on the Eagles here tonight. It'll send them back 5 more yards. So again, like I mentioned earlier, I don't see a play clock anywhere on the field. I would definitely make things easier for Hamas Doran if he could see a play clock, but I do not see one from this angle. That's got to make it tough. But now it's 2nd and 17 as Doran back, throws, sideline, caught as his man at the 30 and breaking through a tackle, Jacob Mitchell. Strong running.
Pick up about 17.
Give him 17 yards out to the 36-yard line.
Check that, I'm sorry. Pick up 24.
And that's going to be a first down for Winslow Township as we end the third quarter of action. And tack on a face mask. So that is exactly what this Eagle offense needed. So nice catch and run by Jacob Mitchell, the senior wide receiver, down to the 36, add another 15 yards. And we will start the fourth quarter with tremendous field position for the Eagles. Now, the band is starting to play, but not sure if they're going to allow one more play because of the penalty.
First and 10 from the 42-yard line.
And now they will end the third quarter of action. So, after not much offense in the first half, both offenses come to life here in the third. We went from a 6-6 ball game to now a 22-12 score. Woodrow Wilson with a 10-point lead. We'll be back for the final 12 minutes on the Play-by-Play Sports Network after this. So time to get the fourth quarter running here on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Ethan Carpenter with you tonight from Atco, New Jersey. It's a 22-12 ball game. Woodrow Wilson really put together a nice third quarter on the offensive side of the ball, but the Eagles are driving here on their home field, trying to make this a one-possession ball game. The Woodrow Wilson side of the stands is really filled up, and they've had a lot to cheer about here in the second half after a really quiet first 11 minutes of action for Woodrow Wilson. Doran back, looking, fires far sideline, incomplete. No one really in the vicinity there.
All right, now we're into the fourth quarter.
And so, interesting development. Didn't really hear what the ref said there. So that was actually the last play of the third quarter. So now we will start the fourth quarter. Probably involved that penalty at the end of the third. The face mask that moved the Eagles 15 yards ahead. So now we will officially break, and we promise it'll be the beginning of the fourth quarter when we come back. And now it's time for the fourth quarter here on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Ethan Carpenter with you. A 10-point ball game as Doran lines up in the shotgun for Woodrow Wilson, or for Winslow Township, as Trey Thorpe takes the screen pass past the 40. Thorpe inside the 30, knocked out at the 26. And that's exactly what this Eagle offense needed as we're 10 seconds into the fourth. Smart play design. Smart play there by Doran to dump it off to Thorpe, and Thorpe does the rest. And maybe that's the play that gets the energy to change here in the second half. Woodrow Wilson has had pretty much all the momentum here in the second half, even though the Eagles were able to put a touchdown on the board to cut it to a 2-point game earlier. Thorpe to the right of Doran. Cam Miller, the speedy wide receiver, to the bottom of your screen. Doran flushed out to his right. looking towards the end zone, fires, it is caught for the touchdown. In the front right corner of the end zone, Jacob Mitchell pulls it in for 6.
26 yards.
And there's Hamaz Doran extending the play, keeping his eyes downfield, and he's rewarded with a touchdown. It's now a 4-point ball game as we open up the fourth quarter. What a pleasure it's been to watch these two quarterbacks tonight, both in their 3rd season as starting quarterbacks, so they've been there, done that. They're familiar with their offenses. They know just how to play football. They're very good in the pocket, keeping their eyes downfield, and Doran really putting on a textbook example there of how to keep a play alive and keep your eyes downfield. Is now going for 2 to try and cut this to a 2-point game are the Eagles. Doran to Thorpe. Thorpe running left. Has the angle and has the end zone. 22-20.
Bring the score. Wilson, 22. Your Winslow Township Eagles, 20.
So Jacob Mitchell catches the touchdown on the heels of a 15-yard face mask penalty to end the 3rd quarter, putting the Eagles in business, and it's a 22-20 ball game. Stay right here. You don't want to leave this one from Atco, New Jersey.
Taylor kicking off. Back deep.
And we're back. It's the Winslow Township High School band really leading the way, helping the crowd get into it as their home Eagles have brought this to a 2-point ball game here in the 4th quarter, as the kickoff is fielded at the 35-yard line, and running on the far sideline down to the 44-yard line is Taryn Lloyd. It's Lloyd's first return on the kickoff tonight. And decent field position now for Cargman and Woodrow Wilson as they look to keep up their great offensive play here in the second half. PA announcer calling for some rally towels here for the home fans as they try to rally this Eagles defense. It'd be a huge stop here to try and get Doran and the offense back on the field to take the lead.
Let's light the stadium up. Let's go.
They haven't led since leading 6-0 in the 2nd quarter. Rally towels flying. Cargman on first down will keep it. Cargman up the middle, and an awkward slide past the 45. Hopefully he's okay. Looks like his knee buckled. But Cargman gets up, walks towards the sideline. It's to the 43, so it's a first down, and now Cargman looks okay. So for a second there, I was wondering what went on there, but everything seems to be A-okay. 1st and 10 from the 44. Boy, do we have a great 4th quarter lined up for you. Oglesby behind Cargman. He'll give it to Oglesby. Oglesby breaks a tackle. Nasir Oglesby still running on his feet down to the 20-yard line, and Woodrow Wilson, guess what? They're right back in the red zone. They've been living there here in the second half as we have an Eagle injured on the field. Trainers coming out, trying to get a number. I believe this is number 63, Corey Williams. So we're going to take a quick break as the trainers look at Williams. Hopefully he's okay. We will be right back after a short break.
2-yard
And we're back here after the injury timeout. Hopefully Corey Williams is okay. The junior defensive tackle, 5'10", 248, is able to walk off the field. As Cargman now looking, sets up the screen. This is Oglesby being held up by his teammates. Now that's teamwork if I've ever seen it, down to the 10-yard line, and it looks like another Woodrow Wilson first down.
Yeah, he has enough. We're getting first and goal now at Winslow's 10-yard line.
So the screen game becoming important for Woodrow Wilson here in the fourth quarter, as we are below 10 minutes to go now. Trying to take a 2-possession lead. Oglesby on the run, brought down, tough tackle at the 6-yard line, and in there again is who else? Trey Moore. The outside linebacker has been all over the field tonight, helping contain Nasir Oglesby, one of the best running backs in the state of New Jersey. Huge opportunity here for this Winslow Township defense, as the band tries to get this crowd engaged in a 2-point game between two of the premier programs here in South Jersey. Cargman keeps. Cargman throws on the slant, incomplete. He was trying to find Michael Estromera, who he hit for that 74-yard touchdown earlier in this ball game. So clock stops on a 3rd and goal. One of the more important offensive plays of this ball game. They'll presumably go for it, so 2 shots to go, 13 yards to try and build a lead. Again, a 2-possession lead with under 9 minutes to go in this ball game would be huge. Cargman on the design rollout to his right, fires to the end zone. It is caught. Is it for a touchdown? Yes, it is. A diving grab on the sideline. That's the 2nd touchdown of this ball game for Michael Estromera. And a good team photo there in the end zone, and an 8-point lead for Woodrow Wilson on the touchdown.
I'm sorry, 28 to 20.
Really impressive to see receivers in high school really working the sideline well. That's something that you expect to see, out of pro receivers and, most college receivers. It's just tough to work the sideline sometimes. And great job by Cargman to put that ball in a spot where only Estromera can get it, falling down on the right side of the end zone. And now Woodrow Wilson will go for 2 to try and take a 2-possession lead. The difference between a 1-possession and 2-possession ball game this late is huge. Cargman off the fake. Can't find anyone. Spins out of the rush. Throws off his back foot, and the 2-point conversion is good. Wow, that was a huge play. Poised, and Jesse Feichel is able to bring it down, and it's a 30-20 ball game.
Jesse, Phil Kill, and 2 points conversion from Cargman.
And if Woodrow Wilson can hold on, that may actually be the play of the game right there. I mean, there's been some highlight-worthy plays on both sides, but for Cargman to keep that play alive, rolling and spinning out to his left and throwing off his back foot, and great awareness by Jesse Feichel to get himself open in the front left corner of the end zone. And it's now a 10-point game. After 12 points scored total in the first half, It's been an offensive explosion here in the second half. 38 points scored. If you like offense, I hope you stay tuned in to the stream tonight here on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Woodrow Wilson looking to stay undefeated on the young season, 1-0. Obviously, a lot of talent in South Jersey Group 3, so it's going to be a tough schedule for them. But to start 2-0 on the season, especially if they're able to hold on to a road win here against Winslow Township, would be a very impressive win. But Hamas, Doran, and company are not done yet. There's the adjustment there by Yasir Matthews. Not much wind here tonight. It's been a slow breeze. See the flags flying on the far side of the field above the Woodrow Wilson fan bleachers. As Matthews kicks a low driving kick to the 35 and out of bounds. So the kick infraction will give the Eagles nice field position here in the fourth.
So Winslow, they're going to take it at the 35.
Been all offense tonight for the Eagles. Last week, if you're able to tune in their game against Camden Catholic, they did have, and giving time to the head referee to make his call. So last week, the Eagles did have 2 interceptions, both by Emerald Mitchell, the star linebacker. Haven't mentioned him on the broadcast tonight. He's one of the best linebackers in the state of New Jersey. Really made his presence felt last week. 2 interceptions, 1 returned for a touchdown, and another taken back to like the 2-yard line. So almost 2 pick sixes in the same game. 93 yards total on his interception returns. Just amazing. He's athletic, great football IQ. Coach Scott really loves him. Had a lot of great things to say about him and his defensive presence for the Eagles. But really, the defense hasn't been able to force any turnovers tonight. It's been Hamas, Doran, and the Eagles trying to keep up. Doran on the throw, nearly intercepted through the hands of number 16, Teron Lloyd. And Lloyd on the pass breakup, it was still almost caught. But it will result in a 2nd and 10. Clock stops at 8:41. That mid-September weather really starting to kick in here in Jersey. It's a little chilly tonight. I'd say still shorts weather, but still starting to get to that point where we're going to start to have to bundle up here on Saturday night high school football as the handoff to Trey Thorpe. And Thorpe has space, and Thorpe has the sideline, cuts back in at the 38, and he's wrestled down at the 31. What a run by Trey Thorpe. And we'll see what this flag is for. It came out during the middle of the play, so it's hard to judge usually, and it will be on the Eagles. Usually when the flag is thrown really early in the play, it's safe to assume it's the offense. Again, that's not always correct, but this one comes out mid-play, so it's tough to judge. So another hold for the Eagles offense sets them back 10 yards after the great effort by Trey Thorpe, who got that play all the way down to the 31-yard line, but all for nothing. So 2nd and 1 from the 49. It's a spot foul. As again, we mentioned this Winslow Township line is very young, though they're very talented. They've done pretty well through 3 weeks, almost 3 full games here. But that is a huge penalty here as we approach 4 minutes into the 4th quarter. Thorpe moves to the right of Doran. Doran will give it to Thorpe. Thorpe running ahead, trying to reach the first down marker at midfield. We'll see if the refs give it to him. It was close. Right at midfield, so we assume they'll move the chains. The far judge is looking, deciding, and yes, they will move the chains. That was a close one. And a strong run by Thorpe to get the first down. So inching into Woodrow Wilson territory are the Winslow Township Eagles. Playing catch up here, down by 10. A lot of time running off the clock on that play as Doran sets, throws to the outside. Jimmy Wilson Jr. has it. Wilson Jr. up the far sideline, and a stiff arm falls out of bounds at the 35-yard line, and another first down, 2 in a row for the Eagle offense.
Doran to Wilson. 15-yard pickup.
Hurry up offense now for the Eagles as movement up front yet again.
Offsides.
This one looks like it could be offsides on Fatim Diggs.
So 1st and 5 from the 30.
So Thorpe had the Eagles at the 31. A couple penalties set them back, but they find themselves right back where they were, the 31-yard line. Getting close to that red zone, down by 10. They're going to have to get moving fast as Hackenberg jogs out to get the play call to Hamas Doran. Doran back, fires, end zone, in and out of the hands of Cam Miller. Hit his right hand, incomplete. A couple defenders there on the stop. William Love was there over the top for Woodrow Wilson to knock that one away. Also had some safety help there at the goal line. But there is Cam Miller. Hasn't had a bunch of targets downfield here tonight. Doran saw him there. He was open. That was just a tough lane or a tough alley to put that football, especially from 30 yards out from the end zone. Well, with the drop back, would have been about a 40-yard throw. As Cam Miller lines up at the bottom of your screen, right next to Trey Simmons. Doran, Jimmy Wilson Jr. makes a move. And he had one man to beat, gets to the 25-yard line. What a nice move there by Jimmy Wilson Jr. Or James Wilson Jr., they also call him. Another first down. To the 15-yard line go the Eagles. A steady drive by this Eagles offense. Doran steps up, looking, firing, end zone over the head of Trey Simmons. Coverage over the top again by William Love. Sophomore defensive back, good coverage in the back of the end zone, second down.
7:07 left in the game.
After a third quarter that really got started quickly, 2 touchdowns within the first couple minutes, things have slowed down a little bit here in the fourth quarter. But nonetheless, the Eagles have put together a very efficient drive, 15 yards away from trying to get this to a one-possession game yet again. Doran, rush coming to his back, throws it, lofts it into the end zone, and it's brought down. Strong hands by Jacob Mitchell for the touchdown.
15 yards. Down to the extra point. 7 minutes left in the game.
Mitchell went up and got it. It is a 30-26 game, a 2-point conversion, or a 2-point attempt is on the way for the Eagles, trying to get this to a 2-point ball game. as some of the assistant coaches, I think there was maybe a miscommunication and a substitution. Trying to get Cameron Brown into the game for the Eagles. There's also it looks like an injured player on the field for Winslow Township. That's the man who just caught the touchdown, Jacob Mitchell. Not sure what the issue is. Mitchell looking like he's walking fine. Everything's okay. He did just score that touchdown, and the celebration ensued and everything, and there was no further action, so not sure what happened. But nonetheless, 2-point conversion here, 30-26. Exactly 7 minutes left in this ball game. Doran in the shotgun yet again. Thorpe to his right. He's going to hand it to Thorpe. Thorpe drops the football. It is loose and picked up by Doran, so the 2-point conversion is no good.
7 minutes. Winslow will be kicking it off. Down 4.
So this is exactly what we expected. 2 great football programs, a great football game. The storylines coming into this one, 2 teams that really have high expectations for this season, both trying to get their second win here in mid-September. As the kicking unit will take the field for Winslow Township. Again, like we mentioned, 3 road games coming up after this one. Hopefully we'll get the chance to have them on the Play-by-Play Sports Network yet again when they return home in mid-October. So really interesting way to have your schedule go. Again, the first game of the season, they were supposed to play in Ocean City in sort of a neutral site game, but then field conditions brought that game to Camden Catholic High School, who they ironically played in week 2 here at home. But having the 2 home games and then 3 road games, something you really don't see that much. It really, all levels of football, the 3 road games are really tough. It's really going to be a test for Coach Scott and his players to come together and put together 3 good road performances as they look to build off a phenomenal 2020-2021 season where they went 5-1. So here's the kick from Jeremiah Taylor. And it's a short one, and was it recovered by Winslow Township? We will see, and no. They're going to give it to Woodrow Wilson, but boy, was that close, and especially since it was the near side, I didn't get a good view. Now they're going to give it to the Eagles.
Winslow recovered. Winslow ball.
The onside kick is successful. The Eagles get the football back down by 4 with under 7 minutes to play. And especially with no replay in high school football, it's really rare that you see a call like that, especially to that magnitude, changed that quickly. One of the side referees on the near sideline must have got a better view of that and overruled the other ref's call. And maybe undoubtedly feeling the pressure from that Eagles sideline that everybody, all the players and coaches were like, we recovered that.
We are having a great game tonight.
So as the PA announcer here says, put your seatbelts on. It's going to be a phenomenal finish.
South Jersey football.
South Jersey football, nothing better. Here on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. And there's Cam Miller at the bottom of your screen. Watch out for him. He's a highlight waiting to happen. And another stoppage in play. Not sure what this is for. No flags on the field. Refs convening. It could be maybe. There was the sideline warning earlier in this game for the Woodrow Wilson sideline. I think it was the coaching staff. Maybe it was their head coach. Not sure who was on the field, but maybe just a warning that, hey, stay on your sideline. Not sure, though. No announcement from our lead ref, as at the 45-yard line, the Eagles will start yet another drive. They've had the football for what seems like forever. As the onside kick sets them up with a second straight possession in Woodrow Wilson territory. Doran, back, fires, deep. It's caught. Jacob Mitchell right off the touchdown. Gets down to the 22-yard line. It's a gain of 23. And the Eagles are on the door of the red zone. Jacob Mitchell coming up large here in the second half. As now it looks like an injury to an Eagle, and is that Mitchell? Not sure if it's an injury or if it's cramping maybe. As our announcer makes reference to the pickle juice game between the Eagles and Cowboys. Obviously this area, a lot of Eagles fans, including myself, Philadelphia Eagles that is. In their game with Andy Reid at the helm all those years ago. And pickle juice being the way that they deal with cramping, as that might be what James Wilson Jr. is dealing with here, being helped to the near sideline bench, and we'll keep an eye on him again. He has been an integral part of this Eagle offense, especially here in the second half. It's been between him and the rushing attack of Trey Thorpe that has got the Eagles through in the second half and kept them in this ball game down by 4. As another flag before the ball is even snapped. And a false start. So we'll stay in the red zone, moving back to the 20-yard line.
All right, so it's going to be a first and 15 after the illegal procedure. Net ball foul. 6:27 left.
And with 6:15 and counting here to go in the fourth, Winslow trying to take their first lead since leading 6-0. Doran back, throws one to Thorpe, up the left side. Thorpe wide open into the end zone. And Winslow Township has regained the lead. Blazing speed down the far sideline. And Trey Thorpe continues to pile up highlight plays here in the young season. The star players on both of these offensive squads really come into play here tonight. And Trey Thorpe adds to what has been a great start to his 2021-2022 campaign. Again, came into this season over 1,000 yards rushing for his career. 10 touchdowns, you can add another there. He had one last game as well. Over 5 yards per carry, a very efficient running back, as that pass is broken up. And if there were field goals attempted in this game, that would be huge because it's a 2-point game, but both teams consistently going for it on fourth down, so it's going to need to be a touchdown for Woodrow Wilson to win this ball game. 32-30, Eagles have the lead. It's going to be a great finish with 5:57 left in this ball game. We have just crossed the halfway mark of the fourth quarter. Ethan Carpenter with the Play-by-Play Sports Network, bringing you an exciting finish. Winslow Township at home has pulled off 2 straight touchdowns, and they lead 32-30 on the kickoff here to the near sideline. It goes out at about the 32, so we'll see the flag come out. And nice starting field position coming for Woodrow Wilson. Storylines in this one, it's been the quarterback play, really. Both quarterbacks have put together a good performance. Cargman and Doran, both. A lot of pressure on both their shoulders as senior quarterbacks in their 3rd season at the helm. Especially a lot of pressure for Doran, as you know that you have Christian Hackenberg, a guy who has played professionally and has played really well on the college level as well. They're kind of watching your every move, and Doran has been absolutely phenomenal tonight. He had a good passing game last week against Camden Catholic as well, and he's led his Eagles back in front, again leading for the first time since leading 6-0 late in the first half. Huge drive here starting at the 40, 1st and 10. Cargman takes the snap. On the rollout to his left, he sets his feet, fires deep and way over the head of his intended receiver, Anthony Judah, who had the touchdown earlier. 2nd down. And on that play, you really see the great talent on that Woodrow Wilson offensive line, giving Cargman the time to sit back there and really just decipher what he has downfield. And even though he overthrew that football, he did have a lot of time. That's really all you can ask for from your offensive line. 2nd and 10 from the 40. The hands off to Oglesby. Nowhere to go, across the 40 to the 42. We'll give him a few yards there on 2nd down, setting up a 3rd and about 8 as the clock continues to run with 5.5 to go.
2-yard pickup, 3rd and 8 on the 42.
And you wonder if this game could just end up as one of those games where whoever has the football last wins the game, because it seemed like that in the second half. Really, both teams have been incredibly efficient, controlling the clock when they have the football and then cashing in at the very end.
Defense, come on fans, let's get up.
50 points here scored combined in the second half as Cargman hands it off to Oglesby. Oglesby breaks a tackle, puts his hand on the ground, falls ahead a yard or two, and it sets up a 4th down. But this 4th down very manageable now, a 4th and 3 from about the 47.5-yard line. No, we'll call it the 47-yard line. 4.5 minutes and possibly the play of the ball game here coming for this Eagle defense, trying to make a huge stop, leading by 2. The energy is rising here on the Winslow Township sideline. Fans on their feet, raising their hands on a 4th and 4, trying to make some noise, and now a timeout called by Coach Scott.
First timeout in the second half. Both teams have 2 timeouts left.
So with a little over 4 minutes left, we're actually going to stay here. Let's take a look at the upcoming schedule for Winslow Township. As like we mentioned, 3 straight road games next week on the road at Timber Creek, 7 o'clock start. Also at Camden and at Pleasantville to round out that 3-game road trip. And then at home against Cedar Creek. Again, that's their next home game, October 15th, a 6 o'clock start. As the fans get on their feet, that's the upcoming schedule brought to you by the Play-by-Play Sports Network. Here we go, 4th and 4 for Woodrow Wilson. Eagles fans on their feet. The band is rocking here from Atco, New Jersey. Cardman in the shotgun, 2 receivers to his left, Cardman back. Cardman looking, trying to find someone, rolls out to his right, down the far sideline, points to his receiver, and that's incomplete. Broken up by Trey Simmons. Right place, right time, turnover on downs, Eagles ball.
On downs.
Trey Simmons is electric on the football field.
4:04 left in the game. Still a lot of time.
So now it's Woodrow Wilson in defense mode, down by 2. And they're going to need to come up with a stop here with only 4 minutes left in this ball game. In a fourth quarter where both defenses have come to life after both teams really aired it out in the third quarter of play. A lot of action at the bottom of your screen. That's Cam Miller closest to you. Closest to the quarterback, Jacob Mitchell. Trey Thorpe in between. A star-studded bunch at the bottom of your screen. Doran hands it off. And by my count, the first carry of the game for Roger Brown, the sophomore. 5'6", 170 pounds, had a touchdown last week. And he's definitely very talented out of the backfield alongside Trey Thorpe. And with both of them sharing carries down the stretch, it's a talented running back room for the Eagles. That's now in no particular hurry. Doran takes the call from quarterback coach Hackenberg on a 2nd and 7 from the 44-yard line. Brown gets another carry, 2 straight, his first 2 carries of the night. And positive yardage there, give him maybe 3 yards. And a timeout called by Woodrow Wilson.
Called by Wilson. So it's going to bring up a big third down, 3rd and about 6.
So 3:09 left, a 3rd and 6 from the 44, 32 to 30. And like it's been most of the night, it's 4-down territory for both of these teams. So 2 stops going to be needed for Woodrow Wilson. But like I mentioned earlier, both these defenses have been very good in short yardage situations tonight. In goal-to-go situations. Tough play at the line of scrimmage. Both defensive lines really getting after it. The only real issue, Woodrow Wilson has had a few offsides calls tonight. Well, compared to last week, less flags on the field, but there still have been some breaking up this game. But not much to complain about. It's been a great night for football, a cool night here in Atco. Both sidelines bringing the energy all night. As here we go, a 3rd and 6 for Doran. Hamas Doran takes the snap, keeps it himself. Doran running ahead towards the first down yard line, and because he slid, it's going to be where the ball was at the beginning of his sliding motion. And still, I think that was a first down as we get close to 3 minutes left. Are they going to measure this? And see, this is key because Woodrow Wilson did use a timeout, and yes, it's a first down. So now the Eagles can continue to use more clock with a 2-point lead late in the 4th.
3 minutes and running.
From the 36. Doran will keep it again and slides under 3 possible tacklers for Woodrow Wilson. And another timeout called by Woodrow Wilson with 2:26 left in this ball game.
About 7 to go.
So now
Use its last timeout.
that is the last timeout for Woodrow Wilson. So now the Eagles can really run this clock down.
And 7. Ball resting on the 33-yard line.
As they send the offense out. And with the way they've been running the football, I mean, you know that when Trey Thorpe gets that football, he's not going backwards, he's going forwards. So with 7 yards until presumably a first down, that would win it for the Eagles. Got to imagine the ball's going to him, and it will. Trey Thorpe cuts back inside. Trey Thorpe breaks 2 tackles down the sideline inside the 10. Trey Thorpe fighting his way to the end zone. Is he in for the touchdown? No, he's short. He's down to the 1-yard line. But Trey Thorpe putting the team on his back, trying to clinch this win for the Eagles down the stretch. And the clock will continue to run, even though it looked like he went out of bounds. Under 2 minutes to go now. Leading by 2. Well, they give it to Thorpe again after his phenomenal run. He'll get the call. Trey Thorpe up the middle and spinning out of a tackle. And he's short. But honestly, not the worst case scenario, because the clock continues to run. Again, Woodrow Wilson, no timeouts. And if you're the Eagles and you score here and you don't get the 2-point conversion, it's a 1-possession game, and you're giving Devin Cargman and that offense, which has looked pretty good tonight, a chance to tie it up. So if you're the Eagles, do you wait this clock out? You could even, on second down, kneel the football. Not getting a look at the play clock here, but again, a 2-point lead with 1 minute left. And we'll see what they decide to do here. And flag on the field. Is it another delay of game? So that's the 3rd delay of game on this Eagles offense tonight. That will move them. So they're at the 1-yard line. That'll move them back to the 6 with 57 seconds left. Again, these coaches on the Winslow Township sideline pumped. These coaches are excited. They can smell victory as Doran takes the knee. And just as I predicted, they will run this clock out here from Atco. Fans on their feet, waving their rally towels. The Winslow Township Eagles are going to walk out of here victorious as another flag is thrown on the field. We'll see what this one is for, but a tremendous effort by both these offenses in the second half. It was a 6-6 ball game. We didn't know how many more plays we'd see reach the end zone tonight. And then the second half happened. 50 points scored combined by both these teams, led by the right arms of Hamas Doran and Devin Cargman, who put both their teams on their back, 2 of the best teams in the WJFL. So Winslow will take one more snap. Winslow Township will move to 2-1 on the season. They will head on the road, like we mentioned, to play Timber Creek next week. They get 2 straight wins here at home after starting the season 0-1. Woodrow Wilson will drop to 1-1 on the season. But for a team, or for a program that's been 42-21 over the last 6 seasons, expect more wins on the schedule for Woodrow Wilson as the fall moves on. As now we're trying to decide what's going to be the game-winning song for the Eagles as the last snap goes through, and that will do it here from Atco. So Winslow Township fell behind in the second half, behind a phenomenal third quarter by Woodrow Wilson, but the Eagles come all the way back and they win this ball game 32-30 behind a phenomenal effort by running back Trey Thorpe. Coach Hackenberg and Hamas Doran with a hug at the 45, and the energy on this Eagles side of the field and in the stands has been rocking all night, and the Eagles move over 500. So, for myself, Ethan Carpenter, my cameraman Justin, and running graphics tonight, Paris, thank you so much for joining us on the Play-by-Play Sports Network. We hope everybody has a great weekend, and again, Winslow Township gets the win 32-30. So long.